Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about Terraform import. What is it actually? So this is like a mechanism. This is going to let you take an existing resource. By that I mean a resource that has already been provisioned, okay? And this has been provisioned outside of Terraform. You want to bring this resource under Terraform management. So basically, any other tool, could be any IAC or manually, the resource has been created and you want to bring it under Terraform management. Okay, so we have ways of doing it. So the old ways is to use the Terraform import via the command line. Nowadays, with Terraform version 1.5 and above, we'll be able to use what we call the import block. Okay, again, why do we need the import? Why do we need to import certain resources? Again, if a resource has been created manually, okay, and you would like to manage it via Terraform, you need to import this resource. Again, for example, if you provision the resource using any IAC tool, infrastructure as a code tool, like CloudFormation or let's say Ansible or anything like that, and you want to bring this resource under Terraform management, you leverage on Terraform import. Okay, so like I said, in the old ways we used to use Terraform import on the command line. Okay, nowadays we can provide what we call import block, and this makes our life much easier because we will have our config file which can be automatically brought under Terraform management. Okay, so let's quickly go to my ID and let's crack on with tutorial on Terraform import. Okay, so let's go on. So I have my ID here, so I'm using cursor on this. So we have a resource that has been provisioned in our AWS account. Okay, so we will have a user that has been created. So I'll show you this user. If I go to my AWS account, I've got IAM users. So let's imagine we have this user has been created outside of Terraform, right? You would like to import this user into your Terraform module. Okay, why am I saying this? Because you have your existing module. Let me show you in my ID here. You have your existing Terraform module here. So infra IAM, this is a module that you created. Okay, and this module is to create IAM user. Okay, so the user is getting created, you are using for each, and then you are providing the variables for the users, and then you are calling the module, okay, to create IAM users. We are creating two users, so Daniel Dev and then Daniel Q. This is the users that were provisioned with Terraform. And let's say you have your new, let's say, cloud engineer in your team, and you task the person to go and add another user, okay, create another user basically. And what he did was he was trying to help, and then he went to the console and created this user, okay, on the console. So this was done manually, and the user is called the test user, okay. And you realize that this user, the test user, okay, we have these users under Terraform management. This test user was created outside of Terraform. How do we bring this under Terraform management? Okay, right. So if you go back to ID here, these are the users, and then we have the original resource that is creating them. Okay, so what we need to do is to import the user into Terraform management. How do we do this? Where do we start? So we will start by creating the import, okay, block. So you can either, add it to this main.tf, or you can create a separate file, okay, call it import.tf. So you know all the resource you are going to import under Terraform management is inside this file. So let's create that resource, okay, here. and let's say import.tf. Yeah, import.tf. That should be all right. So we go enter on that. So we've got that. What are we going to import? The user. So the first place to go is to go to your Terraform registry. Okay. How the resource is created using Terraform, and then you'll be able to find at the bottom how you can import that particular resource. Like I said, we are going to import a user. I am user. Therefore, we will go into the registry, find how I am user is created, look at how we can import it, and then we can take it from there. So let's go to the registry, and then I've got my Terraform registry here. So we have IAM. So IAM, let's find IAM user, IAM user, IAM user role. Okay, where's user? Okay, IAM user. We go to IAM user. So in a normal way, if you want to create a user, this is how you go for it. Okay, but if you scroll down, you will see import. Okay, so um the Terraform version you are using, so this is if you are using the identity in your import block, your Terraform version has to be this. We are not using this. Okay, so let's go to the bottom here. This is the one we're interested in. So you need to be running on Terraform version 1.5 and above to use import. Okay, the import block. This is all you need. The old ways of importing resource is this one. So on the command line, you say Terraform import and then the resource location, and then you just literally import that. This is the new way, and you'll be able to have your config file. Okay, so let's grab that. Let's copy that. Okay, and then we go to our IDE, my cursor IDE. Okay, and then so let's paste this here in the import file. Let's paste this here. Okay, right. So because I'm using this ID, okay, let me skip that for now. Skip that. Okay, right. What we need to do is we are importing. This is the address. Where are you importing the resource to? So to the address. What address? Where do you want to import it? Like I said, we are going to import this into our IAM module. Where is the IAM module? It's in here. So which is the infra IAM module. Okay. Again, if you come to the main.tf here, okay, we have the module. We are calling the child module. So module dev, sorry, max dev, and then this is the source. Okay, referring back to the source infra IAM here. Okay, right, we got that. So any other users that we are going to create or that we have, these are the users. Okay, so all we need is to point the import to the module. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here, so we're going to ignore that and say to, you say module. Okay, you see as I start typing it, start coming in. Let me auto complete that. Okay, and the username, let me auto complete that as well. Okay, so can you see the module name, and then here is taking you to the resource that is actually creating the user. So if you come here, we got the module. So module dot max dev. Okay, and then where is the users getting created? They are getting created. If you follow the source path, it will take you to the infra IAM. So if you follow it, infra IAM, can you see? If you click on infra IAM inside of this subfolder, if you come to the main, we have resource. This is the resource actually creating the users. So we have the resource IAM users, and then this is the local name. Okay, identifier. Basically, this is the address. Okay, so as you can see, we have IAM user dot dev at the end. If I come back to the import, so this is the whole path. So the module max dev, and then IAM, AWS IAM user dot dev. Okay, what user, because we are creating this using to set for each. Okay, we are having a list of users. If you come here, we have a list of them. Yeah, so this is a list of 2 users, and we are going to add another user called test. Okay, so it is a list, this specific user that we want to import. What is the ID? If you go to the import here, the ID is the name. Okay, is the username. Okay, the IAM username. So that is the one we are importing. Where is it? Come back here. So this is the IAM username. Okay, if you want to make it more dynamic, you can use data source and data source and put the data source here, but let's keep it like this, short and sharp. Okay, so once we got this right, what we need to do is to also, in the main.tf here where we have the rest of the users, you add the user that you want to import. So which was, so it's test user. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, so I think everything is sorted now, right? Everything is sorted now. So we are importing into the module, and this is the test user, and this is the ID. So when you run plan, okay, when you run plan, we should have a resource to import and maybe nothing else to change. Okay, so let's run Terraform plan on this. Okay, go enter. Let's see the outcome. Okay, so remember, the resource already exists and we are just importing into it. Okay, so what do we have now? Now you can see the resource IAM user test. Okay, and then the resources we are importing, can you see here? So plan, we have one to import, nothing to add. Okay, nothing to destroy. Okay, so this is the import. If you run apply, is going to import this into the Terraform state. Let me quickly show you something. If let's say I amend, let me see. Okay, test. Okay, if let's say you miss something, yeah, you miss something. Let me go to the tag. Okay, and let's say let's add one more tag here just to show you. Let's say test tag, yeah, and save it. Let's see what's gonna. I've made amendment to the tag. I just want to show you what's gonna happen. Okay, so if I go plan now, enter. Okay, just give it a few seconds, and you see the tag that I add, because I'm running a plan against the existing resource. It's going to tell you, right, there is a tag called test, and then the value is tag. Right, if you continue to apply, can you see this? The minus, it means this tag will be taken out, it will be removed. Okay, in that case, if you want to add it, you add it to the task, you add it to the tag. Okay, which we have it here, you can add it to this bit. Okay, but for now, if you don't want it, you can just, let it remove it, and it will remove it. Okay, if you don't need that, if you don't need this tag, let's say your new engineer just added extra tag and you are happy to remove that, then you keep the way it is. Okay, so this is how you can import. Where is it? This is how you can import an existing resource into Terraform module. I want to show you to import another resource, you know, just on a standalone, but this one is not into a module. In this case, it is a ECS cluster. So if I go to, where's my ECS? ECS. Okay, I've got this ECS cluster. Right. Let's import this again. So on this one, let's click into it. Okay, right. That's what we got. Let's go to the infra actually. Okay, that is fine. So we go, where is the name? So that is the actual name. So if you go to the Terraform registry, let's find ECS. Let's find ECS here. ECS. Where is ECS? Okay, where is ECS? Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. EC Elastic. Okay, this ECR. You're looking for ECS. Where is it? Yeah. So with ECS, like I said, we are importing cluster, ECS cluster. Yeah. So this is the resource to create ECS cluster. This is the resource to, where is it? Where is the import block? This is how to import an existing cluster. So let's grab this and add it to our import. Okay, here, import file. So any resource that you want to import, just literally add it to the import the TF. So let's paste it here. Okay. So for this one, we are not importing it into a module. It's just a standalone import that you want to do. Okay. So that is fine. So if you want to import a standalone resource, you need to also create the configuration of a configuration file for this. Again, how to create it, if you come back to the registry and just have a look at how ECS cluster is created. It's not a lot, okay? So it's just that. So we can copy all of it for now, and then we will make amendment to that. Okay. Where's cursor? That's my cursor here. Make it a bit bigger. Okay. So you can add it to the main.tf. Okay. But for easier um for me to easily show you this, let me add the resource here. It doesn't matter where we put it, but you can put it into the main.tf. But let me show you here. Okay. What we need is actually, let's change this, for example, and make it simply done. It's fine. Okay. Right. So here, what you want is the name. Okay. The name of the resource. Okay. What is the name of the resource? You're gonna put it here. Okay. So if you go back to the cluster, ECS cluster, where is it? So this is the name of the cluster. Let's grab that. Okay. We copy the name of the cluster, come back to my cursor, and then I'm just gonna paste it here. Okay. I'll put it here. No dramas. Cooking on the gas. Let's remove this for now and let's see what's gonna happen. Okay. If there's nothing to add, that is fine. Right, on here on the import, again, this is the address. Where is the address of the resources that you want to import the existing resource into? Okay, so the address is this one. So AWS ECS cluster. Okay, and then dot simply done is the address that you want the import to come to. So Terraform will read the import and say, where do I send this import to? Right, I'm gonna send it to ECS cluster and then dot simply done. Okay, so here we will change the local name and say simply done. Okay, here. Okay, and then the name, again, we can change it to the name of the cluster name we copied from the console. Okay, so literally Terraform is going to read line by line. Where do I send your import to? Where, to which address? This is the resource address, and it's pointing to the resources we have created or we are importing into. Okay, again, when you run Terraform plan, okay, on this, let's see our output. Okay, it's taking a bit of time. What's going on here? Give it a minute, bring this up a bit. If I even press enter or not. Let me see what's that. Oh, it's done it. Right, let me clear the screen and let's do it again. So Terraform plan. Didn't see the plan properly. Okay, okay, right. So we have this. Right, we got plan is going to import two resource, but nothing to add, so no new resources are being created. And then there is a change, so two items to be changed. So what we will do is we will have a look at what is getting changed. Okay, so under the ECS cluster, so there's a tag that we are missing, so we can update that. There's also config. Okay, that was that config name. Okay, so literally we can update this in our code. Okay, literally you can copy that and put in your code, and that should be fine. So if you want to update this, let's update that. Okay, quickly copy that, put it here, enter. Okay, let's remove some of the stuff here, remove that. Okay, and then the next one is config. Right, so we can grab the config and we make changes to it. One, two, yeah. Again, let's put it here. Put the config here. And then we can make some changes too. So that is not needed. That is not needed. 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 That's not needed. We can remove all this. Okay. Remove all that. Remove this. All the now. And what else are we missing? Right. Let me close this down here. Let's add one more. See that one, see that one. Let's remove that. That's fine. Move that. Move the tag for now. See what's gonna happen on here. That's fine. And then so that one, actually let's remove that. Remove that. Okay. So simply done. Let's see that bit. Close it here. Close it there. And let's put one more. And close that one too. Right. So now let's add our tag. What's the tag? So we can just add the tag on here. Remove that. Okay. So now let's try and run the plan again. Terraform plan, enter. So you trying to get a clean import, nothing to change, nothing to destroy, and you should be good. So we got one more change. Okay, what change is that? So plan to, okay, two to import, one to change. What was that change? Right, so let's have a look. So the cluster is good. We are happy to import everything as it is. Okay, and so the tag, like I said, if you don't need a tag, you can just remove it, or when you apply this, it will change it. So you make the call. Do you need a tag? If you don't, You can delete it on the console or let Terraform apply and remove this. Okay, so let me just delete that tag, and then um, we'll get a clean import just to show you what to expect on your import. You want a clean import. Okay, clean import here. Okay, where's that resource? That's the test one. Okay, that's under the tag, isn't it? Yeah. So tag, actually, let's manage tags, and then what was that one? I think we can remove that one, and then when we plan again, we should get a clean plan. So Terraform plan, enter. Let's see what we're gonna get for the tag on this. Should be nice and clean now. Leave. Okay. Tag. Why is it still doing that? Let's have a look. Has it been removed? Oh yeah, we need to save the change. Save the change. Okay. Yeah. Just to update that. And then let's quickly run the plan again. Just want to show you a clean plan. Terraform plan, and enter. So we should get a clean, right? So this is what you expect: a clean import. Two to import, zero to change, zero to destroy. Okay, and what we have done, two things. We have used what we call Terraform import block to import a resource into a module. Okay, just to show you how to do it into a module. And we've also import just a generic one by creating a resource and putting in an import block. Okay, so that is what we've done. So this is the best way to handle your resource that are not under Terraform management and you want to bring it for Terraform to manage it. So if I run apply on this, okay, we should be cooking on the gas. Okay, apply, and then once this is applied, basically it's going to import the Terraform state into your Terraform management. I will say yes to this, okay, and it's literally going to import everything. Okay, that is it. So now if I run Terraform plan again, there's nothing. Okay, so we will say nothing. It's just gonna give you a clean. We got two resources already import, and it's now under Terraform management. Okay, and this is how we do Terraform import using the import rule. I hope this is helping somebody out there. If you're not too sure, if you are stuck in your Terraform import when you are practicing, you can send me a message or put something in the chat, not the chat, I mean in the comment. So I'll be able to pick it up and then support you going forward. If you want me to do any video in and around Terraform, just put it in the comment, mention the topic, and I'm happy to get that one done as well as soon as possible. I hope you learned something. Happy learning. See you in our next video. Bye bye.